welcome to another week of our webinar. So let's see what we got. All right, so starting at the top with our indexes, obviously we had a pretty nice move up this week over the last couple of days, and basically what we're looking at currently is a double top on the daily chart. Right? And we need to get through this top for the upside to continue. Right? We get a pair of twins on the weekly chart, like reversal. Last week we had the bearish twins, and now we're going back green. We totally retraced last week's sell-off. You could see that, and now we're back to where we started. And now it's do or die time for the bulls, because if we don't break there and get to new highs, we have a double top, and then we know what happens after that. That means we're back over here someplace around 28.30. So from a smaller time frame perspective, we can still buy the pullbacks in demand. We're still in an uptrend, but from the daily chart, we really need to break this 29.17 change, make a new high, because if we don't, we're looking at something like 28.50, which is fairly big sell-off from where we are now. So for now, we'll keep continuing to trade longs until we start to see a real issue on the 60, which we don't really have just yet, right? And this is our all-time high up here, the 29.1750, and we've sold off a little on Friday after rallying in the morning and pulling back, and then we retrace right out of this 2900 back to basically the supply zone that must break. If we break this zone, this 14 and change, we're going through the top. We'll have new highs. Everything's good. But if we fail over here, so then we're talking about scenario number 2 basically. So it's if we get all-time highs, then we're just buying pullbacks in demand. And if we don't get the all-time high and we start selling off, so we're talking about double top, and we're looking for basically 28.50 to 35ish on the daily. So that's what we're looking at on ES, somewhere over here, or break the highs and buy pullbacks, and then where's the top? Nobody knows. Just keep buying pullbacks. So that's the plan for ES for the coming week. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ. Where are we? Here we go, NASI. And so NASI didn't get quite as high, as the ES. We didn't really get back to the highs. You could see that, right? Sitting over here. And again, similar idea. If we make this lower high over here, and we pull back, we're looking at 7,300 basically. It looks like a bottom test of the bottom Bollinger Band on both ES and the NASDAQ. If we just leave this doji here and start rallying, and it becomes a rally-based rally, so we'll get through the top, and then it's pullbacks in demand and all that fun stuff. You can see that the NASDAQ is actually showing a little chinks in the armor over here, where we've gotten up close to the supply. And we started pulling back a little bit on Friday. There's really no more demand under us until we get back down to this little rollover gap situation area down here. So it could, continue downwards just a little bit and then turn around over here and make the run for the supply. We'd have to watch and see what that looks like. I think on the smaller time frame, the NASDAQ had a pretty decent 60 pullback. Let's go look at that. Yeah, so, that's our supply zone up there on the 60. Let's blow it up. You can see we got fairly close, and then we retraced basically this little last rally up here over here, and we didn't quite get into the demand. The rollover thing is over here, right? And we're looking at a test of basically this demand zone, which will probably happen in the overnight hours anyway. This little thing over here, and then we'll have to wait and see what happens on Monday with this supply zone. Again, if this one breaks, likely to get to the new highs, and if it doesn't, and we're talking about that pullback on the daily. So both the indexes are really in sort of wait and see mode and see how we play out in the beginning of the week. If we're able to continue the rallies, we'd have to buy the pullbacks, and if we're unable to, we have to start thinking about getting short, because there's going to be a pretty decent pullback. Let's look at crude. So on the weekly chart, crude is definitely having issues as far as the highs are concerned. You can see that here in this whole 70 to 71 and change area, multiple times getting rejected. Even this week, even though we had, it's a green week, we still get a massive rejection up here, which we'll see on the smaller time frames. And again, this is starting to look like a head and shoulders to me, more and more. There's the head up here in the weekly. This shoulder is here. The other one is here. And now we're talking about, again, this 62 change area. On the daily, you could see the 70 rejection multiple times over here. Right? It's a clear supply zone of the daily chart that has been rejected twice. This is looking like a double top. And then we get this little wicked move on Friday that was brutal, really just nonsense, knocking out both sides of the trade. But if you look at the bodies, we really didn't go anywhere, right? We ran up into the supply zone, get rejected, and then we clean out a little demand. We end up right in the middle again, and this is likely to continue. I think this little candle over here is sort of the telltale sign to what to expect. I think the double top is in right here. I think this was the stop out move over here. On the shorts, when you were riding this short down from here, you stop out everybody, and then they pull right back in, and then I think we're gonna just continue down over here. This level should break over here this week, and we end up somewhere, under 65, and the level really down here is someplace around 62 is where we're looking, I think, for the next bounce to happen after this break of this zone down over here, this thing. Okay, you can see this on the daily chart. This level over here, okay, because this one's already been hit, which we talked about. This is sort of showing us where, the rejection is coming in at. This little thing here should break, and then we end up back over here at 65-ish, but we've been there already with lower highs and a rejection up here. I think we break that, and this is where the demand is really sitting at 62. So that's the next target, I think, on the shorts. If we get an opportunity to get back into a short of, this early in the week, if you're a swing trader and you want to look for that, let's take a look at crude on the smaller time frame. Yeah, I'll take your question in a second. You could see on the 60 chart, with that, that wicked move, we were trading short early on Friday, and then we had a little bounce up there. Ended up hitting my stop, pretty decent profit on the trade, but knocked me out of the swing situation. So, we run up into this little tight little supply zone over here on the 60 with the wick, and we start getting immediately rejected. You can see it here. And again, there's just air underneath us over here. So, you want to be short at this point, okay? Let's take a question for somebody. And who was that? Let me get there. Question from Nitin. What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Hey, Joe, on the daily CL, do you see an inverse head and shoulder?
On the daily CL, let's take a look. There.
Maybe I need to change my glasses, but...
Let me blow it up a little bit, and let's take a look.
Yeah, just blow up and then...
I'm in the middle of doing it. My computer just went a little slow here. A second. Okay, so there's the bigger. All right, so you're looking at inverse head and shoulder. Okay, so let me draw out what I was looking at. One thing at a time. Okay, look here first, and then I see what you're talking about. So, okay, so I'm looking at this thing over here with the neckline being someplace over here, right? So we have a head up here, X right there, this one, and then you got a shoulder on this side, and then you got this has multiple shoulders on this side. What you're looking at over here is this. You're looking at a head here, and a shoulder here, and a shoulder here, and the neckline is here, which we've already hit right? We hit the neckline here, right here. That was Friday, I think it was Thursday, last week actually. Right, we hit the neckline here already, and it got rejected again. So we have a double top sitting on this side of your head and shoulders, right? Just because the head and shoulders doesn't always mean it's going to break this way. It's been rejected already, and now we're as we go down through the smaller time frames, it's getting rejected again. So I think, yeah, it's there. It was there. It got back to where it needed to, but it's finished. It couldn't get through the level, right? It didn't break through there. It's actually coming over. I think we're going this way, yeah. But it's there. What you see is there. Definitely, no problem. All right, Luik has a question. Yes, Luik, go ahead, man.
Hey, Joe, how are you?
So what's going on, buddy?
Following along the questions of Nitin, the second time that supply zone was hit on a daily, it did not make a new low. So
not yet. Has not made a new low yet. Not yet.
Yeah, but it went back into the zone because I thought, maybe I'm mistaken, but I thought that when you see a retracement into the zone and a new low not being made, it means that supply zone did not have enough quote unquote power to push price down.
Good. So let's walk through this zone here. This was the origin of the zone. Everyone agree, right? You agree with me?
Yep.
This is the first touch of the zone. Good? You agree, right?
Yep.
Good. And this is the low that you're saying didn't make a lower low. This was the prior low over here, right?
Yep.
And therefore, this higher low here, right, we assume that this level should break on the next touch up, correct?
Okay.
That's what you're asking. Okay, good. What happened here? Is this low here that when we came back into the zone? Right here, higher or lower than the prior time?
Okay, so it didn't break out, so you're assuming that...
didn't even get back to where it was. It made a lower high, and then it collapsed backwards, right? So based on your logic, we should have been able to break the zone here. If we turn around again now and come back to the zone, I would agree with you. We'll probably get through the top, right? But this one over here, it didn't clear the prior pivot up, right? And it had a wicked rejection up there. And then what we see on the smaller time frames as well, which is the rejection of 70, because this is 71. This is the rejection of 70s over here, right? Which I just showed you on the smaller time frame. So we're already putting in lower double tops already. You know what I mean? So I don't think we're going back there. You know what I mean? But yeah, you're accurate, except for the fact that when we got back to the zone the second time,
it should have broken up.
Yeah, it should have broke out right here.
Got it.
At 71, we should have broke out.
You're assuming that it failed. Okay, got it.
That's it. It failed. Yeah. Okay. Good. Next. Cool. All right. Everybody's clear? Let's move on to gold. Actually, we'll just take a peek at some of the levels on crude on the small time frame that we got down over there. So we saw the 70 being rejected over here clearly on Friday with a wicked rejection off of this zone, right? And then this is the stop out move I was talking about. We tag on both sides on the shorts, the longs, and then we just finish right in the middle. You can see that we just closed the session right where the middle of this whole nonsense was, and now we're waiting for tomorrow. There's air underneath us, and we got rejections above us. So I'm fairly certain we should be selling off on crude. Okay, let's take a look at gold. So gold this week had a rough, another question from someone? No? Okay. So gold had a rough week towards the end of the week, at least. In the beginning of the week, it was really doing really nicely. And then we get back into this test of 1200 again. On the weekly candle, you can see we're sort of engulfing the prior week's range, but we end up with a doji just right in the middle. We don't break down under the prior lows. And we're still stuck in this whole little sideways business going on over here on the daily chart. We get fairly high, but again, not to the prior high. So it looks like there may be some additional weakness still coming. You could see that over here on the 240, right? This low that we formed this week is actually lower than the prior touch up there, and we get a pretty strong rejection down. And now we're sitting at, with some demand that's, that's likely to break down a little bit more. So I think we're going to probably see one more pushback, a little bit more down for gold before we turn around and start to really push through the top. I think what we're probably going to see is this little, 95 thing over here that we got going on the 240 is going to come out on this side. It's going to be a touch of this break of this trend line right around the bottom of the Bollinger Bands on the 240. It's right at 95, and that's, I think, where we're going to start to see the next pop over here. Again, if we should break under here, then obviously there's nothing to talk about, but that's still 25 points down from where we are. Basically, this trend line over here, we're going to tag it one more time, I think, and then we're going to break out of the top. So expecting a little bit more weakness for gold early in the week, and then at some point a massive rally, really strong, something powerful. So there's the demand zone that we've come back into. There's the little head and shoulders that collapsed on Friday. You can see it, it's so clear, right? Majority of it's right there. The neckline was in this area. We just collapsed. We come right back to the demand zone here. I think we're probably going to break down a little bit further, lower down into this. We end up closing under 1200, which is quite bearish. So we'll have to see how it plays out in the beginning of the week. And then I think we're going to see a pretty big rally, and I'll show you why I'm saying that, because it's based on where we're sitting on the dollar. We got this little rollover gap situation for the dollar that I think is trying to get tagged over here. This gap area over here, that needs to get touched. I think you could see it here on the daily chart, this little thing. So a little more strength for the dollar, we collapse at the rollover gap, and then, this, which is sort of going to give us that, that push down in gold, and then the big, strong rally. So that's what I think we're going to see. Probably, around Monday, Tuesday, we get a little more strength on the dollar, and then we get this big sell-off coming into this area. So watch this when the dollar's inside this gap area over here. Start to watch the other currencies. Start to watch gold. You can see the 50 average is sitting right there. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's right inside the zone. And that's where I think we're going to see the turn happen. So expect a little strength on the dollar, and then some pretty strong selling pressure after that. So that means the gold, the euro, they're not done yet with their sell-off. I think what we're doing basically is making a run for the rollover gap. We want to close that gap before anything else happens. Sitting over here someplace, right, on the euro. It's basically this area where we broke out of this little pivot thing, and we shot up there. We got a big rejection on Friday. On the weekly chart, we did make the higher low. You can see that over here, and now we're looking at maybe just a little bit of a pullback more back here, and then this, right? That's what's going to come soon. So again, early weakness on the euro, and then a strong move towards the end of the week is what we're looking for. So that's going to give us a buying opportunity at some point on the euro. The trend is up on the 60 chart. Boom, 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 boom. This is all one sell-off. There's the gap waiting to be tagged, right? So look for the longs in this area. If we can just continue to sell off without any lower highs, fantastic. It's great. We're going to take the long somewhere around 116, and the target's going to get us up into the 120 area, okay? So let's take a look at that. With high probability trade sitting up there for the longs. Yeah, Louis, go ahead, man.
Joe, would you actually treat the gap as a zone, meaning that you
Yes.
for higher low
Yes.
on a 5 or 2?
It depends how it looks like when we get in there. If we just continue to drop in here, I wouldn't mind putting an order at the bottom of the zone, at the bottom of the gap, just to try the long down here. But if we start forming some little high low lower high over here on the 60, then I'll be a little more patient. But there's definitely a very nice long sitting someplace around here, right around 160 change. So again, depending on how it happens, if it's strong selling pressure and we end up inside the gap, buy the bottom of the gap. I mean, we're still in an uptrend, no question about that on the 60. It's just a one sell-off from the top. So that's what I'm planning on doing myself. I like that trade a lot because, again, it's sort of showing us where exactly the trade is and what's going on. And we understand there's a little rollover, the gap's sitting over there, they want to close it up or whatever it is. And, the dollar's lining up right in there. Gold is doing the same thing. It's sort of a perfect storm almost. So, 116 long for a target of like 120. That's what we're looking at. Okay. Aussie dollar. Thing looks like garbage, right? For the last couple of weeks, the Aussie dollar has been getting hammered, and then finally, maybe we start to see some kind of little hold over here, right? So I think we talked about this in the last webinar about needing this higher low to form on the Aussie before we can start the long. So the demand you could see over here on the daily chart starts to hold. Then we get the rollover, and we pop up into the supply. We get some pair of twins on the daily. And this move down will create this higher low that we need to flip trend. So we're sort of right there, right around here someplace. We have to see where this starts to hold. If it does start to hold, we can start thinking about getting long here because there's a nice run on the weekly chart back up to like the 7,500 area, basically this area at least 74, right on the daily up here, where we break this zone and end up in the next zone. So at some point we may see an opportunity to get long for the Aussie dollar. Right now the trend is still down on the 240, so we need to see the higher low first. So the 60 did give us a little turnaround, but then it put in the lower high, lower low again, right? And earlier in the week, we were seeing some decent looking strength on the Aussie. We get up to the 72.31 area. Then this thing happened, this higher, lower high, and then we break down under here in the lower low, and we're sort of in the air. You could see that. So basically, if we're going to try any longs, we're against the trend at this point, and the demand zone is still really not even where we are. So there's still shorts all the way down into 71 and change, and then we'd have to watch, some higher low form over here. Again, we understand that might be the one for the higher time frames, right? That's going to make that move for us that we put in the higher low and we start to rally. So watch that level right here. This is the one that's going to tell us what's going to happen for Aussie dollar. If this thing breaks down, likely that we take out the bottom again. So again, the dollar, we're expecting to have additional strength still. So again, this sell-off over here makes total sense until we get down into this area again, and then we should see some buying pressure kick in down there. Okay. Pounds. What happened to the pound? So a nice strong weekly candle, but a pretty ugly Friday on the pounds, right? We end up, down in the demand zone a couple of weeks back. We rally up, we doji, and then we get the continuation over here again with rollover playing part of the move up, right? And then we get up into the supply. You can see on the Friday's candle over there a rejection of the 13200 level, right? Clear rejection. You can see it here on the 240, and we're back down on the air, and the demand is really still way below us over here on the 240. So expect at this point, I think, just more of a little bit of a correction. We're in an uptrend already. This is just part of the corrective move. It's going to probably bring us back again to near the gap or the 50 average over here, maybe 130 and change, 1320-ish, where we're going to turn around again and start to rally. So again, weakness in the beginning of the week for pounds, and then the move up coming towards the middle to end of the week. Uptrend on the 60, very clear what's going on over there, right? And we're just looking at a corrective move. We have a new high and, a little pullback. So the pullbacks here have been shallow. I think the one that we're in is going to be a little bit bigger. It's probably going to bring us back down again into this gap area over here someplace. And then watch for the turnaround again. This is still an uptrend. This is all selling pressure off the highs. No problem buying pullbacks in demand. You just got to pick the right one. Watch it start to turn around so we can try the longs for pounds. Okay, so again, not yet, but later in the week. Canadian, same type of story. Really strong candle on the weekly Canadian chart. Right, finally breaking up above. We end up holding the bottom over here. This is a higher low and a big strong candle. Really not much supply up above us. Over here, you can see this on the daily chart. After we get the rollover Friday, a little bang, 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 with all this air still above us, right? So a little selling pressure here. I think we're just going to see, a higher low, probably right around here, and then we're going to break the top. So look for a test of 78,000 on the target for the Canadian this week. Again, we need to, wait for this little selling pressure to pause and start turning around, but it should be a long up into this 78 and change area. Okay, for the pounds. For the Canadian dollar. Let's take a look at the smaller time frames that we're looking at here. And uptrend on the 60, very clear. We've already pushed back into supply. You can see the air that's underneath us, right? We pushed back into this demand over here. We know we got, look at all this air here, and then a little pause here, maybe some more air. So probably a test of this level coming here. So all the currencies are pretty much looking the same. Expect some weakness back down into this, demand underneath us, and then we should start to see a pretty strong rally over here. Okay. Alrighty, let's look at JY. This one is just really doing nothing. It's like cut and paste. You know what I mean? Look over here at the 240. The last 3 weeks is just cut and paste, cut and paste, cut and paste. Do over. The chart looks the same. We're just going back and forth. Red, green, red, green, red, green, red, green, up, down, up, down, up, down. And we're stuck in the range. It's just not going anyplace. So personally, I hate these kinds of ranges. I don't like to trade them, but some people love them. If you're a range trader, you could see exactly where the demand is. You know where the supply is, or the resistance up at 96,600 there, right? And then the demand is down here at 89,600, and buy the demand and sell the supply. That's basically what it's like. If you have patience for that, good for you. But it's there, no question about it, and that's what we're seeing. So until it does something other than that, there's really not much to talk about for the yen. We still have a little part of the gap left over, right? We've been chewing our way through it. You can see how big it was. This was the original part of the gap, and we keep on just chopping down. This is what's left of it, basically, on the rollover side. So that's more than likely to get filled at this point with what's going on over here. Okay. And then again, we come back to this 89,600, where the demand of the the prior range is sitting underneath it, right underneath the gap. I'll just zoom out a little, and you can see it's it's been working for whatever it is all the way back since August 30th, and that level created in the beginning of August already. So this is something to definitely pay attention to. Okay, for JY, if you're trading that, that's what it looks like. Okay. Nat gas. This was the trade from last week that I just love, and I still love it even more. Okay, it's looking fantastic for the shorts at this point. Take a look at the weekly chart. We have the lower high clearly over there, and we're banging on the low. Look at the candle structure. Last week was a failed hammer, boom, And then this week, again, we tried to rally and we put the gravestone candle on. That's the kiss of death. It's over. Okay? Lower high. We're back here. This is breaking down. We'll be in this zone. I have no doubt at all that we'll be in this zone this week. Should it break? Well, let's go do a little analysis. Okay? I think it should, but, let's go confirm that idea. Right? Let's take a look. What are we looking at? Zoom out, zoom out. Okay, so zone that we're coming back into was created over here, right? Never got through the top. Okay, and now we're looking at lower highs and lower lows. This is a downtrend already. Lower highs and lower lows. So we're coming back in here. We should have another, a resistance, a sort of rally or whatever, but we're not going to change any trend out of that. So we should get another lower high, another lower low. I think we're probably going to break down under this thing. I would say at least 2,700 this week with a chance at 2650 for nat gas. So nat gas is not looking good at all. Okay? Not looking good at all. With that weekly candle from last week, looking terrible. Take a look at the 240 chart, and you can see that we've definitely got the lower high, lower low situation going on. We get resistance up here. Beautiful supply over here. For some reason, if we rally into that thing, don't think twice. That's only 9 ticks wide, and that is a 240 supply zone with a massive leg in and a massive leg out. All right, so I'm definitely interested in selling that level if it gets there. Let's take a look at some of the other ones on the smaller time frame. We want to be short nat gas in case you can't tell. Look at that level. Oh boy. Oh my God. Look at the 60 zone. Yes. I was like, sits there for a full day, maybe almost a whole day, and then just dies. Look at that. How many hours is that? Oh my. Wicked. Tight range, and then boom. Collapse through the air. Any lower high, there's probably a zone over here also that's shortable over here on the 15. We'll go take a look at that. But you want to be short nat gas. Okay. Let's go take a look at that level. 15, there it is. Ooh, boy. Okay, let me draw it because I didn't draw it before. Grab that and nat gas. Okay. Now we're looking at this little doji thing over here. So the 60 zone is this thing, right? This one up here. That's the 28 and change number. Oh, you get this little doji thing over here. And then there's one more thing I want to take a peek at because I have a feeling there's something even better than that over here. There it is. That's the one you want. Okay. At the same zone, up to like 80, up to 2790-ish or so. Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing, more or less. But there's a couple of chances to join this nat gas trade on the short side. Okay. Cool. Let's take a look at copper. So, on the weekly chart, we can see very clear where the resistance is coming in. We've been dribbling down. We did make the turn over here on the lower high of the daily chart, and now we come back to this demand, and basically this is it, right? So if the dollar is going to continue a little bit more strength that we believe, excuse me 1 second, I got to take this phone call. All right, sorry about that. I'm back. So we're looking at copper, and we see the resistance coming in over here in the weekly chart, right, on the where the highs are sitting. And we're looking at this daily over here, and the question really becomes, okay, I have the lower high. We should be breaking over here. So what, being that we're expecting the dollar to continue to rally a little bit early in the week, it's likely that we have some more selling pressure coming in over here, and at least another, test down here in this 2.5 area, I think, before, something down here before we see another rally. So for now, it looks like we should see continued weakness for copper. Same like for gold, same story. Let's go take a look at the lower time frame. I have a question. Okay, we'll get there in a second. Let's open up the chart here for a second. Look at the 60. And here. All right, so we're back to demand, basically where it started from. Wicked strong sell-off over here. The trend is down, right? Lower high here, and then we break down and put the lower lows on. We should see a bounce over here, maybe some kind of lower high with a chance to short for now. Copper is not looking at all like we want to be long. We want to be short, but just not here. Obviously, we've arrived at demand. So the level for the short for copper is sitting over here, right there. Beautiful, beautiful short, right there. 26460, 635. Okay, this zone for an entrance into the short side for copper right here. All right, that's cool. There was a question, I believe, so let's go take that. And yes, my friend, what's up?
Joe, what is the trend on the 240 according to you on
copper?
Yeah.
Let's go. 240 copper trend is opening up the chart, and here we go. Okay. So, down into this area, you'll agree with me that we were down. Good. Then we make higher low, and we make higher high. Up into this area, we're up. So up to here so far. Good. Right up, right in this spot. Right here, up. Then we start selling off. Right. Let's erase that. Okay. Boom. Lower high. Right. So right here, that's the first one down. We never break this bottom. Correct? Never break the bottom. So we're still up. We still have lower highs. We're making a bunch of lower highs. We never made the lower low. Trend is still up.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep. Thanks.
You got it. So the 240, and that's why we'll have to see what happens over here. I think we're going to end up making at least a peak under here, even though we're still up. And we're just going to sell off straight into here, and then we're going to explode out of that sucker, something like that. Stop out all these people that were long over here. We're going to get underneath these wicks, and then we'll see the rally. Again, that makes sense based on what we're seeing for the dollar also, right? So a little bit more weakness coming, and then some strong rallies. So we should have some fairly decent trades a little bit later in the week on the metals, on the currencies. Soy is still waiting for that freaking thing to hold. It has not done it yet. I'm still watching. I'm waiting this patiently over here. Yeah, I think I had one attempt this week, and got stopped out of it. And I'm just waiting. We're waiting for this thing to start to show the hold. It has not done it yet. On the 60, it started to look like it was going to hold. It sort of made an uptrend move, and then it just came back and just started going sideways over here. You can see that I was talking about this thing, where we get the higher low here, and then the higher high here, right? And then we just pull back, and then we started doing this nonsense, and there's air over here. So at this point, we're waiting for it to hold to bottom out again. And maybe at some point we'll get an opportunity. If it holds this bottom right here, that's the low we're playing with, and we start turning around, we're going to have to try this one more time. So at some point, we're going to look for the longs. Again, until then, it's just a waiting game for soy. Okay? And the bonds, wicked sell-off. Now it's 3 weeks in a row of ugliness. After the engulfing candle a couple of weeks back from over here, we just collapsed. And we take out the lows on the middle of the pivot. This was a double top, right? And there's the middle, and we've just broken down to the middle, and we're going back to the origin. We got to the beginning of it right now. You can see it. We've touched the demand zone on the daily, on the 240, and we got a decent reaction so far. We'll have to see if it really starts turning around or not. I think at this point we should be thinking that the trend should start turning around. We have a pretty strong sell-off over the last couple of weeks. We've gotten to the origin of this double top, basically, on the daily chart, and we rallied up. We've hit supply, and now we're just waiting to see. This is a 60 chart, If this turns into a higher low here, we could start thinking about getting long. And again, up into the 142 would be the target up here. Okay? Something like this, back to 142. And then a pullback, and then maybe a chance at 43 and change. I don't know if that's going to happen this week, but for now, assuming we don't break the bottom, if we break this level over here, it's history. We're down to the 139 or something like that. I think it was looking. We'll go look at it right now. But if we don't, and we hold the level right here, we start rallying. It's 142 plus to 142 to 143. Oops, I lost my window. Where is it? 60-minute chart. It's missing. There we go. Hello. There we go. Okay. Let's go see where the target is underneath. Should we break down under this level? Where's the next demand zone? Let's go take a look. And blow this sucker up. And zoom out a little bit. 139 and change, yeah. So this level goes down to 140 really and 25. You can see after that it's 139 and change. So some ugly looking stuff going on over here on the daily chart. If this was the origin of the double top, well, looks like over here this was our middle, and the rally started from back here. So yeah, this is it. I mean that's the spot where we should start to turn around. So I don't like the shorts anymore from down here unless we start breaking down further. If we do. So we could start thinking about at least the bottom of the zone around 140 and change down to 139 potentially. And that's it. So, for now, do we have any, really nice, best looking one was that nat gas trade? Or, once the dollar finishes its gap fill, we start looking at the currencies and stuff like that. The euro looks really nice inside the gap. It's probably the second best trade. Any other questions for today? Please feel free to ask. Looks like we have a couple more. Okay, Louis, go ahead. Nope, there you go. You should be on now. There you go. Louis, go ahead.
Oh, no, you answered my question. It was the last question.
Oh, okay, sorry. No, you got it. Raj, you're up. Yeah, what do you got, man?
Hey, Joe.
What's up?
Two questions. First, one about selection of NQ over YM. I find YM trades much better than NQ because of the fast movement. So,
there's nothing wrong with trading YM if you like YM. For me, I just didn't want to follow all of them, and then just because it's a lot. But it's there's nothing wrong with it. Drop one, and if you don't want to trade the other, whatever you like, it's fine.
Okay, so
the level is slightly different. Yeah, no big deal.
So there is no specific reason. Okay, and second question is around just to understand how to use. Of course, you clarified it, but how to use the levels you post every morning. Can you give me an example of?
Yeah. So what I'm giving you, when we're talking about the levels that I started to post in the mornings, it's an area where we expect price to have some kind of movement reversal, basically the way I'm posting the zones, basically where there are going to be day trades potentially in that area. Now, it doesn't mean we can take the level as is. You have to still follow the trading rules, which means that if it arrives in the zone and the trend on the lower time frame is not the proper direction yet, we have to wait for it to happen. So it's just a spot where keep your eye on this chart. Once we hit the zone, start paying attention. The trade may develop from here. That's what we're doing.
Okay. So can you show me where would you take ES entry? Because I found only one, and I just want to confirm that my understanding is right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. You're talking about Friday?
Yeah, Friday 29:10 to 29:05.
Yeah, so Friday was early. Yeah, the zone was eventually pierced, right? So I had originally drawn the 29:10. I believe it was over here, right? Let's go put it back. I think this distal line was like down here someplace. I was trading this, right? Come on, move. Why is my line not want to move? There we go. That's the zone. I think that was the zone that we were talking about on Friday, right?
No. It was a little above 29:10 to 29:08:04.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
8:05.
This was the distal line over here. This one.
Yeah, that deep end. Yep.
This one right here.
That is correct. Yeah.
Right? That's good. That's right. And it got hit right here. over here, and it gave a really nice bounce all the way back to 13 and change, and then it broke down later in the day. Correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what you're talking about, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go take a look. And that was right in the morning, I think, right? It was it was very early in the morning. And then not around 9:45, right? 9:45, right?
Yeah, I didn't find really formation on the first touch, but on the second, after it broke the zone, when it reversed, I think I found the entry, but I just want to confirm.
Okay, so here we go. Let's take a look. At the time that it hit the zone. Good. Let's go back first. What was the trend on the 15th? Were we up or down? So we were still up. Okay?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
We had a new high on the day at the time back here. Okay, it looks like we were still up for sure. This is right here, the first touch of the zone is this.
Mm-hmm.
Trend was up on the 15, trend is up on the 60, right? No problem. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go look at the lower time frame. I don't remember what the zone was. There we go. I'm blowing this up and zooming out a little bit. Let's get to 9:15 on Friday. Okay, so this is the touch here. This is the candle we're talking about. Okay, this thing, right? This wick over here, and then it rallies all the way back to like 13, 14 over here. So what happened with the 5? All right, the 5 over here looks like it had like a little double top early in the morning. It touches the demand zone that we were talking about. And yeah, there was no real great entry over here unless you took it off off the zone as itself. There was no great movement. Again, because there over here was, I don't want to say it was really a downtrend, it's more like a double top over here when we topped out over here, right? So I don't see a great touch over here. After that, eventually later after we break down into this thing, even still over here, there was no great entries on the ES. I mean, I don't see anything great at all. From the smaller time. I don't like it personally. So I don't know which one you're talking about, but I don't even see that. Right? Unless you took it on a 2. You took it on
Actually,
a 2,
the
right?
entry was on 2 minutes.
Yeah, okay, that's right. On the 5, it's not here. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, on 5 I didn't find it.
I don't see it. Okay, so let's go see what you see on the 2. Zoom out a little bit. Okay, there we go. So on the 2, it is there. It's actually, this is the first touch of the zone, right over here. This one.
Right.
By the way, this is all one move down, right over here. This is still all one move down. It's not really a downtrend. It's just chopping downwards. This move up is the one that we talked about, that it went up there and then it ended up collapsing. The entry, if you're taking it afterwards, was here. That's the one you're talking about.
That's what I was talking about. Yeah.
I agree. That was the only one, and it gave you a little nice chop, but then it just collapsed after that.
Right. Okay.
But yeah.
All right.
Yep. Agreed. Next. Who was in there? There was someone else in there. That was Raj, and someone else had a question, but it looks like they dropped out of the queue. If you have a question, come back to life. Where are you? The team. There you go. What's up, man?
It was me. I somehow got outside the line again.
Yeah,
if you go back to CL 60 minutes.
For a second. Yep. Give me a second. Let's erase this. Let's go back to CL for the 60-minute chart. And there's our 60 chart.
What do you see as a trend? I'm kind of confused.
The trend. Yeah. Okay. Fine. So. All right.
I'm good till 66.83.
66
on September 7th. Until September 7th.
So over here, let's start here. From
Okay.
here, we flipped up, right? This was up,
Right.
up into here.
Right.
Here. Then we start selling straight down. This is all one move. Right over here, actually, we have a pivot. Right here, sorry.
Yeah, 3 and 3.
Right, yeah, right here. Lower high, we have boom, lower low. So we went down. Went over here, and then we just tagged again. We're still down at this point. Okay.
Okay. All right.
So the pivot was right here. You see this move up, like four hours of buying, and then we make a lower high, and then we break down lower low. So trend is down.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. Anybody else before we wrap it up? All right. So I'll see you guys. Actually, this week we're going to have this webinar on Thursday, and it's going to be a trading session. All right, so we're moving it to Thursday. It's not going to be Wednesday. Everybody else, have a great day. If you have any questions, you know how to reach me. All the best. Take care. Bye.